Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Wajazallahu anna Muhammadan ma
وعليكم
huwa
السلام ورحمة
sallallahu
الله.
alaihi wasallam. Alhamdulillah. Um, okay, so today we're gonna be going starting from Surah Al-Bayyinah.
Yes.
Just bring it up on the screen here. So the first ayah, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لم يكن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين منفكين حتى تأتيهم البينة. So I'm gonna break it down a little because it's a bit of a long ayah. So use my cursor here. So it's saying that first and foremost, so it says so yakun means will not. Well, it means will, but then the lam before it negates it, so it means will not. So it says alladhina kafaru. So those who disbelieve from amongst the Ahlul Kitab, which is the Jews and the Christians, as the Jews were given the Torah from with Musa, and the Christians were given the Injil with the Prophet Isa alayhi salam. Uh, so from the Ahlul Kitab, the Jews and Christians, wal Mushrikeen, and the polytheists. So the polytheists refers to nations which were engaged in idol worship. So idol worshippers. Um, and then Fakina means to desist. So it means to desist or to simply stop, like to refrain from something. Hatta until ta'tiyahum until so bayina means the clear evidence or the clear proof. So hatta until bayina the clear evidence ta'tiyahum came to them. So to kind of conjure it all up into proper English, now it means that the unbelievers and the unbelievers, the kafaru, those who the disbelievers from amongst the Ahlul Kitab and the polytheists will not desist, or you could say are not a people who would desist uh, from they would not desist until the clear evidence came to them. Sorry, meaning until they had actual factual proper proof, they would continue to be on the misguidance that they were on, and they did not simply you know um, believe sincerely. They needed this and that. So if that makes a little bit more sense. Ayat number 2. Rasulum min Allahi. Rasulum, a prophet, min Allah, from Allah. Yatlu, recites, suhufam, scriptures, mutahara, pure. Or you could say suhuf, you could also say pages. But scriptures is a little bit more better. So he says, a prophet from Allah, Yatulu, recites, uh, basically in brackets now to them, pure scriptures. Next ayah now is continuing explaining what those scriptures are, what pure scriptures are. It says fiha, in them, meaning those scriptures, is kutubun, or is pages or books, qayyima. And qayyima means it means strong, or you could say concrete. So when you open up a book and you say, oh, like this is proof, this is actual proper evidence of such and such things. So that is what Allah is saying. So He says that it is pure pages, right? I mean, pure with the vocabulary and the linguistics, but also pure as in there's nothing smudging the pages, right? Because let's say you're reading a book and someone spilled coffee over the pages, you can now say, oh look, there's something wrong with the pages, and it's no longer clear to me what it's saying. Or if somebody spilled ink, you could make up excuses. So the pages are easily accessible, and not only that, but they're easily read. So it says, "Fiha kutubun qayyima." The in it is is basically books that are concrete. that they're established, right? Ayat number 4. وما تفرق الذين أوتوا الكتاب إلا من بعد ما جاءت البينة. So تفرق means to split and to divide. Sorry, there's some background noise. Sorry about that. So تفرق means to split and divide, or you could say or divide, just dividing the people. Um, so it says وما تفرق الذين أوتوا الكتاب. So أوتوا الكتاب is different than Ahlul Kitab. So Ahlul Kitab simply means the people of the book, but Utul Kitab means those who own the book. So it's you could say it's another synonym, but the wording is much different. So it's the people who own the book, Utul Kitab. It says so it says the division that broke out amongst the division that broke out amongst the people of the book. إلا من بعد ما جاء. So yeah, so it's similar to the first ayah. Trying to make it make sense now. It says that right, okay. Um, so the people of the book had no discrepancies amongst themselves, right? I'm going to explain it and then I'll make it make sense. That the people of the book had no discrepancies amongst themselves until the clear proof came to them. So if I use my cursor now, that's basically what it's saying. So I'm going to split the ayah into half a little bit from right here. So illa, except min ba'di, from after al-bayina, the clear proof, ma ja'at hum, basically had come to them. So the people, it means that the division that broke out amongst the people of the book only happened after clear cut proof came to them. So one side said, oh no, this is proof, and the other side said, oh no, this is not proof, as an example. So it says, وَمَا تَفَرَّقَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابِ. So it says that the ma here is negation, I believe. So it says تَفَرَّقَ, so that there was none, there was no division, no separation. الَّذِينَ, in those who utul kitab, who own the book. There was no division except when the clear proof had come to them. The ayats are a little longer, so I'm going to take obviously a little bit more time just to make it make sense. So ayat number 5 now. وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ حُنَفَاءَ وَيُقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَذَلِكَ دِينُ الْقَيِّمَةِ. So it says, وَمَا أُمِرُوا, and they were not ordered or commanded, in brackets, to do anything, إِلَّا, except, لِيَعْبُدُ اللَّهِ, that they worship Allah, مُخْلِصِينَ, devotedly, or you could say sincerely, lahudin, to his religion. Hunafa'a means on the path of Ibrahim. So Hanif is basically someone who sticks to the fine line, kind of like a knife. You know, when a knife is sharp and it's fine on that, like there's no this side or this side, just on the blade itself. So that's kind of what Hanafa is referring to. People are strictly on the ways of Ibrahim. Right. So it says, and then the next half now, that that they were not commanded except to worship Allah devotedly to His religion on the path of Ibrahim, and وَيُقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ, and they were also commanded to stand up for salah, to pray their salah, وَيُؤْتُوا الزَّكَاةَ, and to give the zakah. Zakah, you could just say the tax, the yearly tax, or the purity tax, right? So they were commanded to do those three things, right? Worship Allah, pray, and to give the tax. وَذَلِكَ, and that, دِينُ الْقَيِّمَةِ, is a is a strong religion. Or you could also say is a strong people. But deen, I believe here refers to religion, so it might be better to say in that is a strong religion or a good religion. You could also say. Ayat number 6. إن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين في نار جهنم خالدين فيها أولئك هم شر البرية. So to translate it now, it says إن الذين كفروا, verily those who disbelieve, min ahlil kitab, from amongst the people of the book, wal mushrikeen, and the polytheists, fi nari jahannam, or in the hell of Jahannam, or the hellfire of Jahannam. Um, yeah, so nar means fire, and then Jahannam just means the, they're kind of synonyms, right? Like they can be used and replaced at times. Um, so you can see in the fire of Jahannam, or you can say the fire of hell, maybe the hellfire. Khalidina means that they will remain in it forever. That's what it means. Like Khalid means to remain in something forever. And then fiha just means in it. So it says finari jahannam, that they will be in the fire of hell. Khalidina fiha, abiding in it forever, or remaining in it forever. Ulaika, they are those whom, they are those who, sharrul bariya, are the most evil of creation. They are the most, shar means evil, or the most evil. They are the most evil of creation. So one side note though, so when it says kafaru min ahlil kitab, so in the Prophet's time, there were, and obviously before his time too, there were people that were sincere in following Jesus, or Isa alayhi salam, and they didn't make him a god, or they didn't say that Allah had a son, or that Jesus was the Father, or the Trinity. They didn't do all of that. I believe it is in Surah Baqarah, maybe a little bit of Surah I think like the third surah. I believe like around the in that area. Allah also talks about how Jesus had his 12 disciples. So those people, they technically weren't Muslim, right? Because there was no Islam. The Prophet ﷺ wasn't around, wasn't born back then. Uh, so they were still believing in they were still Hanafa. They still followed the correct religion. So those people were still technically Ahlul Kitab, but they were not kafaru. They were mu'mineen, right? In from amongst the Ahlul Kitab. So I'm just trying to separate that. When Allah is saying Inna ladina kafaru min Ahlul Kitab, He's specifying a group of people who were diverted from the true path. There are still some, um, there were Christians back then who still followed the proper path, right? Nowadays, maybe not so much, just because of all the division and everything. Like Christianity isn't as pure as it was back then, but nonetheless. Ayat number 6. Inna ladhina amanu wa amilu salihati ulaika hum khairul bariya. Inna ladhina amanu, verily those who amanu, who believe, wa amilu salihati, and those who do good deeds, ulaika, they are those whom, like there once again, there, ulaika hum, you could just say they are those, khairul bariya, pardon me, that they are the ones who are the best of creation. They are those who are the best of creation. جزاؤهم عند ربهم جنات عدن تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا. We'll continue after. So جزاؤهم, say they are rewarded, or say their reward عند ربهم is with their Lord. Their reward, sorry, is with their Lord. Jannatu, and it is, right? It is gardens of Eden. We could also say gardens of eternity. But Aden, in English, they call it Eden, the Garden of Eden. So they're in the Gardens of Eden. Tajri min tahtiha al-anhar. Anhar means rivers. So tajri means to flow, Min means from, and tahtiha means under it. So Gardens of Eden, under it, rivers, sorry, anharos, rivers flow, and then kind of comma, khalidina, they will remain in it, fiha, in it, abada, forever. So abada here is just emphasis on the khalid once again, because khalid itself means to remain in something forever. So it says they will remain in it forever and ever. Just emphasis. Radiyallahu anhum. So Allah is pure. Sorry, Allah is pleased with them. Waradu an, and they are pleased anhu, with him. Dhalika, that is, liman, for he who or she who, khashya, fears, rabba, his Lord, or quote unquote her Lord too. Um, right. Dhalika liman khashya rabba, that is for he, or the one who fears his Lord. We're going to continue now to the next surah, Surah Al-Zalzala. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها. So, zalzala means to shake or to quake. Um, like, how we have earthquakes and such things. I'm not sure the video is good. Yep. So it means that إذا زلزلت الأرض, that when الأرض, the earth, زلزلت, shakes, زلزالها, with its quaking. So to kind of make it make sense in English, you can say, um, when the earth is violently shaken, or you could say when the earth has a powerful earthquake, right? When the earth is violently shaken. Number two, ayat number two, وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا. So أخرج means to remove, or to um, dump out, right? So it says وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ, and when the earth removes أثقالها, its burden. Um, so you could say that the same way when a person is sick, we as humans, we're sick, we have a stomach ache, you might vomit, right? Or throw up. So it's going to be kind of like that, where the earth is basically going to be metaphorically sick, and it's going to throw out all of the all of the bad things that is in it, right? Um, right. It's going to throw out all of its anything that, whatever Allah deems that burdens the earth, all of it's going to be removed. My book says gold and silver is a part of the burden, and that these wealths are gonna be, like, thrown out. But there's not going to be anybody to take any of this wealth. It says that everyone will realize that these are all treasures over which they had always been fighting are now absolutely useless. So I guess you could say that there's going to be an abundance of wealth, and everybody's going to be realizing that it's useless now to fight over it because of the scenario that's going on, where it's earthquakes, like Judgment Day starting and such things. So everybody realizes that uh, wealth is useless at that point. Ayat number 3. وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا. وَقَالَ الْإِنسان means, and humans, insan, mankind, will say, مَا لَهَا, like, what is wrong with it? Like, what's going on? What happened to it? Why is the earth, losing its mind? يَوْمَئِذٍ, ayat number 4. يَوْمَئِذٍ, on that day, تُحَدِّثُ أَخْبَارَهَا. أخبارها. It says, on that day, the in brackets, the earth will count أخبارها, its tidings, or it will speak about its information. So, whoever did stuff to ruin the earth, or to pollute it maybe, or people just recklessly killed another human being. The earth is going to talk about all of this stuff, and everything that basically made the world sick, it's going to talk about it. It's going to be like, oh, like, I have this disease because of such and such. That's going to continue. Ayah number 5. بِأَنَّ رَبَّكَ أَوْحَى لَهَا. It says, connecting now to ayah number 4, says that the earth is going to talk about its information. بِأَنَّ رَبَّكَ, because رَبَّكَ, your Lord, أَوْحَى لَهَا, had basically ordered it to. So أوحى, you could say, had given it. So it means, like, it comes from the word wahi, like revelations. Uh, so you could say, but yeah, maybe it would be better to just say because your Lord commanded it to, or ordered it to, right? All right, number 6. يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا ليروا أعمالهم. So يومئذ, on that day, يصدر الناس, the people will proceed, or will go forth, ashtata, in groups, um, or you say in mass, en masse. Liyuraw, liyuraw means so that they can be shown. So liyuraw means so that they can be shown. A'malahum, their actions, or you could say their deeds, both good and bad. Right? That the people will go out on that day in groups, en masse, and they will be shown their good and or bad deeds. Ayat number 7. فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى. فَمَنْ, so he who, يَعْمَل, who had done a good deed, مِثْقَالَ, the weight of a dharra. So dharra, translated, means an atom, atom, which is like almost like weightless, really. Like it's so, like, not to say it's insignificant, but in weight scale wise, it kind of is. But Allah is just showing you that no matter how small the good deed is. So He's saying, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ, so whomsoever does a good deed, the weight of a dharra, an atom, خَيْرًا يَرَى. Khayr just means, a good deed. Yarahu, and that he will see it. Right? And then now the opposite. وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَى. And whomsoever does a good deed, does a bad deed, the weight of an atom, yarahu, he will surely see it. I'm going to continue now to the next ayah. This is Surah Al-Adiyat, and it's talking about horses. So make sure. Okay. So in the Prophet's time, even sometimes really nowadays, but not really as much, horses were used during battle, right? Like nowadays we have like tanks and like jets and such stuff like that. So those are kind of the modern day equivalent of jets. Of horses. Um, so there is a good thing when it comes to the horses that fight in the cause of Allah. Obviously, Muslims will be riding them and such, but it continues. So ayat number 1 of Surah Al-Adiyat. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal-'adiyati dhabha. So the first wow here is a qasam, an oath. Allah is saying that I swear, or He's saying, I take an oath by the adiyat, by the horses, dhabha, when you say that pant. So I take an oath by the galloping horses. Adiyat is galloping horses. Dhabha, that pant. Pant meaning they're tired, right? For running so much, fighting. They're like just tired. that are panting. So it's a good thing, they're putting in basically putting in the work. Ayat number two. فَالْمُورِيَاتِ قَدْحًا. So فَالْمُورِيَاتِ قَدْحًا translation is um, striking sparks of fire. فَالْمُورِيَات striking sparks قَدْحًا of fire. And you can kind of see it if you guys ever pull up a YouTube video. That many times horses, their hooves, um, they have like you guys know a horseshoe? It looks like a U. So it's made out of metal. So when it hits the ground, like this, it makes a spark. Um, like when a horse goes on its hind legs, or if it goes on its two front legs and it kicks and such stuff, and the hooves are hitting the ground, it's just making sparks. So that's what it's referring to. That's striking sparks of fire. If you guys watch a YouTube video, it's really cool. Um, how horses are actually able to do this. Line number three. فَالْمُغِيرَاتِ صُبْحًا. So al-mughirat, you say is plundering. Basically, like I'll explain it after. So فَالْمُغِيرَاتِ صُبْحًا. Subha here means in the morning or dawn, and that they're plundering at the time of dawn. So it says it was a practice of the Arabs to attack when they were in war during the early morning. The enemy does not know of their movements at night, and they would attack suddenly in the morning. They considered it a display of bravery for not attacking at night. Little side note. Alright, number four. فأثرنا به نقعا. فأثرنا به. So أثرنا means to raise dust. Um, so then فأثرنا به نقعا basically just means raising dust. نقعا you can say at the time. So that the hooves are hitting the ground because they're running, they're panting now, and they're basically speeding forward, plundering, fighting at dawn, and it's raising dust because of all the fighting and such things that are going on. It says ayat number five, فَوَسَطْنَا بِهِ جَمْعًا. So فَوَسَطْنَا بِهِ, penetrating forward, جَمْعًا, like into the army, into the gathering. So basically, it's like back in obviously no, we don't really fight like this in war nowadays. But back in the day, they would have ever. Excuse me. So everybody would line up. Everybody would have their soldiers, in in different units. You have Unit A, Unit B, and then you have like the backside, and then you have like the main archers, and everybody had like their station. Um, and so the front row was usually men that had shields, and long spears. And people at the back would be bow and arrows because they can kind of hit you from far away. Um, and so what the horses were really really good at running and basically just trampling through and crushing all of the people that had their shields and causing a ruckus in the front line of the regiment in the army, because horses are obviously naturally stronger than human beings. Even if you had a big shield, a 200-300 pound horse running at you at full speed and then hitting you, it's knocking everybody down. It's knocking two, three, four people over. Right, so that's what Allah is referring to. That there's basically just crushing the soldiers that they are aiming at. Number six. Innal insana li rabbihi lakanud. So it says innal insana, verily humans, mankind, li rabbihi, towards his Lord or their Lord, lakanud, is ungrateful. So the word isn't lakanud, it's really kanud, and the first lamb, or technically the second lamb there, like the first lamb right before kanud, is emphasis. So kanudun means ungrateful. So it says, verily mankind is ungrateful. or is undoubtedly ungrateful to his Lord. So make sure you put the emphasis there in English. Ayat number 7. وَإِنَّهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ لَشَهِيدٌ. So once again, shahidun, the first lam is emphasis. وَإِنَّهُ, and verily he, meaning mankind, عَلَى ذَلِكَ, on that, لَشَهِيد, is a witness. Meaning we as human beings are able to testify that we are, most definitely ungrateful towards Allah. We're, we do not show our appreciation for the things that He does for us. Ayat number 8. وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٌ. وَإِنَّهُ, and verily he, لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ, for the love of goodness, or you say of the love of wealth, لَشَدِيد, is undoubtedly severe. We can say ardent. That meaning we just have an obsessive, an intense love for wealth. So on a slight note, this is referring to greed, avarice, miserliness, and stinginess. When people have $100, they're not willing to give, $2 to a needy person who needs it. This isn't referring to, you saving up money so you can buy a new book, or you saving up money so you can pay for college and such things. That's not what it's referring to. There's nothing wrong, Islamically, with, you know, working hard to make more money. Um, there was one Sahaba, I believe it was Ibn Zubair. Um, I'm forgetting his name actually. I don't. It might be Ibn Zubair. Anywho, there's one companion, and it says that when he passed away, he left an inheritance for his family, the equivalent of today, which would have been roughly like $50 million. So let that sink in for a moment. Roughly $50 million is how large of an inheritance he left for his family, and he was a Sahaba, a companion. So he's in Jannah. You know, he made it, which is obviously evident to the fact that there's nothing wrong with, you know, um, amassing wealth if you're gonna do good things with it, right? The only issue really is when it takes you away from Allah and it makes you hurt people. Like, on a side note, also, uh, there are some people where, they'll make some money and then they'll backstab their friends, they'll abuse their friends, and they'll do a bunch of evil things in order to make more money, right? So some people, they'll get into business with you and then they'll con you just so they can make the extra dollars. Basically, that's what it's referring to. Not people that are sincere with simply trying to make more money so that they can take care of their offspring and their future generations. All right, number 9. أفلا يعلم إذا بعثر ما في القبور. So it says, أفلا يعلم, does he not know, in brackets, does mankind not know, إذا بعثر, um, so بعثر means, you could say, brought forth. So, and then, so it says, إذا بعثر ما في القبور. So ma here means whatever. Fil qubur is in the qabrstan, the graves, will be bu'thira, will be brought out. So does he not know when whatever is in the graves will be brought out? So either, maybe not when, but you could say the time will come, right? Basically, just mean that it's gonna happen in the future. All right, number 10. وَحُصِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. حُصِّلَ means to clarify something or to expound on something, to bring something into the light. So this is ma fi sudur. So sudur means the chest or the hearts. And it says that whatever is ma fi sudur, whatever is in the hearts or behind the chest, husila, will be made clear, will be known, will be expounded, right? Basically, nothing is going to be hidden whatsoever. Ayat number 10 now. Inna rabbahum bihim yawma idhil lakhabir. So it says, Inna rabbahum, verily rabbahum, their Lord, bihim, with them, yawma idhin, on that day, lakhabir, will surely be aware of everything, or you could say all knowing, but aware of everything, knowledgeable of all, um, on that day. So that brings us to the next surah now, and we'll most likely finish on this one. Suratul Qariya. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So first ayah, Al-Qari'ah. So Qari'ah means trembling. So you could just say Al-Qari'ah is the trembling. Um, yeah, the trembling. Mal Qari'ah. Ma here means what? Or, yeah, you can say what. So Mal Qari'ah. Like, what is this trembling? It's a question now. What is this trembling? So Allah saying Allah Qariya. He's bringing it to your attention. Now you're gonna ask yourself, oh, what is this Qariya? So he's asking, Mal Qariya. What is uh, this trembling? Wama adaraka man qari'a. Wama adaraka means and what will. Wama and what will adaraka inform you man qariya about what the qariya is. Right? We could say what will cause this trembling. And number four, يوم يكون الناس يوم a day يكون الناس mankind nas will be كالفراش. um you could say farash means moths, mo- moths, moths, a moths, mabthuth, scattered. So batha means to mabthuth comes from batha means to scatter something, and farash means moths. That sounds weird when I say it. It will be like scattered moths. Um, right. An easy way to imagine it is at nighttime. If you guys ever look at light bulbs or candles that are they're on the patio, you'll see those like moths or maybe like firefly type of looking insects, and they're scattered towards the light, and they're all looking for the light. And you can kind of tell that they're everywhere, just buzzing around. Um, kind of picture that. Haywire. All right, number five. وَتَكُونُ الْجِبَالُ Jibal and the mountains, takunu will be, kal rihni, like like wool. So rihin means wool, and then manfush means carded. So carded wool, I believe, means um I believe it means okay. So carded wool means when someone basically wool comes from sheep, right? So you would it's like it's sheep hair. So you'd shave it off, and now it's raw sheep hair. So people card it and basically turn it into lint. Uh, and so like if you guys take like for example like a lint off of a sweater or something, and like all of it, it's very light, weak. Like you can play with it as you want, right? Um, so Allah is saying that the mountains are going to turn into lint, into carded wool, which is like that's kind of unimaginable because how can Mount Everest become something as light and weak and fragile as lint? Right, so it's basically just noting how severe that moment is going to be. Alright, number six. فأما من ثقلت موازينه. So mawazinu means his scale. So mawazin is scale, and then the who means him or his, and then thaqulat means to make heavy. Oh, pardon me. So it says فأما من. So as for he, man he who thaqulat um who heavies mawazinuhu his scale, as for he who's, or in English you could also a better way maybe we could say as for he whose scale is heavy, might be a better way of translating it. فهو في عيشة راضية. فهو, so he will be in brackets In, fi means in. Aishatin means life. Radiya means pleasant. So he will be in a pleasant life. So it's saying thaqulat, heavy with good deeds, righteous actions. Praying, reading Quran, helping the old lady carry her groceries, whatever it is. And not heavy with bad deeds, right? Ayat number 8 now. وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُهُ. And as for he, وَأَمَّا مَنْ, as for he who lightens his scale, or another translation, as for he whose scale is light, فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ. So ummu means abode, and then hu means his. فَأُمُّهُ, so his abode will be or is hawiya, is a pit. Hawiya means a pit. Ayat number 10. وَمَا أَدَرَاكَ مَا هِيَ. And what will inform you? وَمَا أَدَرَاكَ, what will inform you? مَا هِيَ, what that pit is, right? Like, what kind of a pit is it? It is, in brackets, it is narun, a fire. Hamia, hamia means blazing. So it is, right, in brackets. It is a blazing fire. It is a blazing fire. Uh, should we stop there? You guys want to do maybe one more surah? We could do Surah Al-Takathur.
It's fine. You can stop here. It's fine.
Okay. Wait. Someone said it's a little quiet. You guys weren't able to hear me?
Yeah. No, I heard you.
That's a little. Okay. Maybe that was before then. That was before. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No problem. Okay. We'll just stop here then. We'll continue next week and such things. Is there any questions or anything? I always ask you guys. Is everybody
No.
okay?
Yeah.
No. ठीक है.